Hello family, friends, and random victims of the YouTube algorithm. It's Metagear and we are back on Gran Turismo Daily Race C here at Suzuka in the Super Formula Honda. As you can see, we're starting from third on the grid, and I am the lone Australian in a sea of Japanese, so it's green light racing. We are underway. Take it off traction control as we hit 50 kilometers per hour and up through the gears onto the overtake button as we try to defend our position, get through the first corner cleanly, and we jump on board. These first few corners are always super stressful. You don't want to run into the back of the car in front and get a penalty. Of course, the Super Formula cars don't have a brake light, so you have to be super careful, super cautious, and just close your eyes and pray. Well, not close your eyes, but certainly pray to not get a penalty. But look at that, we've managed to get through unscathed. We've held on to our position, and now we can get into a nice rhythm. We're starting on the soft tires. We're going for the two-stop strategy here. You can do one stop, you can do a two-stop. I prefer the two-stop just because the soft tires are much more enjoyable to drive on, and I like to be super aggressive, as you're going to see in this instant classic race. Stay watching right through to the end, because I promise you it will be worth it. And remember, hit like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. And here we are. Let's go. We're riding on board now, trying to get into the slipstream of the two ahead of us, and it looks like we have. We're coming up behind second place. It's a little bit hard to see with this halo here. I don't know how the drivers do it in real life, but we're gonna go down the inside into the chicane, outbrake him, hit the apex, and get it turned in, and we've successfully gotten up into second place. So if you look down in the bottom right hand corner, you'll notice there is an overtake graphic. That is a feature of the Super Formula cars. They have an overtake button. It gives you a little bit of extra horsepower to attack or defend, and we're using it there as we go down the straight. And we've successfully defended the position. So now we have to catch up to first place, as we lost a little bit of time with that battle. And what we're going to do is we are going to just skip ahead a little bit, because we're trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter than the last few. So we're going to go to the beginning of the third lap now, and we're riding on board with me as we come up the hill through these super fast left, right S's here at Suzuka. These corners are an absolute thrill to drive and very technical, because if you get one wrong at the beginning, you're going to get them all wrong as you climb up the hill. And then we're going to now just skip to the end of that third lap. As you can see, we're getting closer. The leader has a little bit of lock up there. We're going through the chicane, going to jump onto that overtake button as we're trying to catch up and get into his slipstream. So we set a 1 minute 40.5, and you see the leader sets a 1 minute 41.2, so we gained 0.7 of a second on that lap, almost a second, and we're probably going to be up in his dirty air right now. These cars do understeer a lot when following another car closely, and that's going to be especially noticeable through these Suzuka S's. So you see that we drop down into third gear as we suffer in the dirty air of the Japanese driver ahead, but we are slowly catching him. I can tell you he is on the soft tire, I am on the soft tire, so let's talk about the strategy for just a moment here. As I said earlier in the commentary, you can either go for the one stop or the two stop. My strategy is to start on the soft tire, as it's the better tire off the line, and then around lap 4, 5, or 6, you want to make your first stop, and then you can either go onto the mediums for one lap, or you can do another stint on the softs right away, and then stop for the medium at the end of the race. So you see the leader has a lock up there and runs a little bit wide, and that's going to get us right up behind him. We're going to jump on that overtake button, try and get into his slipstream again, and as you can see, we're just going to get a lot of gain on him as we go down this straight in his slipstream. Are we going to get close enough to have a look into the chicane like we did in lap 1 to make our way up into second? No, we don't get it that time. He has another couple of little lockups there as we go through the chicane, and as we come through to end the fourth lap, he actually peels into the pits, and that means it is hammer time. We can see there on the left he's on the soft tire, so that means he can go one of two ways here. He can put the softs on again and go for the two-stopper, or he could put on the mediums because he had the track advantage, and now by stopping first, he potentially will be able to undercut me in a sense, even though he's the lead car. So what we need here is just a really, really good lap, as Mercedes calls it, and we are in the Mercedes livery today. It's hammer time, so we're going to go for it, using the overtake button there, just to gain a little bit of extra speed, just to get our lap time as low as possible. We're really, really going to be pushing it as hard as we can. You see the car there in the background just runs a little bit wide. We don't want to be doing that on our lap, and we can come around the hairpin here and actually get a little bit of a tail slide there. And once again, we're on the overtake button just to regain that speed that we lost on the exit of the corner. But using the overtake button so much in this manner, it means we might be vulnerable later in the race when we have to defend our position, or if we have to go for any overtakes. But I think in this situation it is worth it just to try and get the track position, because the worst thing that can possibly happen is if the leader comes out ahead of us and he's put on the medium tire, and we'll come out on the soft tire and we'll just lose our new tire advantage trying to follow him through those very technical first section of the lap where you can't overtake. So here we go, we're going into the pits, we're going to go onto the soft tires. Let's see what happens. Will we get out in front? Third place, he also pits at the same time. We're coming out of the pits and we're on board with the leader now, and you can see that no, we've just missed out. Look at how close that was, really. That's just such a shame that we couldn't come out, and you can see he is there on the medium tire, so we are on the soft. We're going to be all over the back of him now because we have a tire which is a second and a half lap faster, and it really is just a huge priority here to get ahead of him as quickly as possible. So as you can see, during this pit stop phase, we are actually running in second and third, and the Japanese driver HOH has not come into the pits yet, so he is not in true first position right now. He's been running on the medium tire. He's doing quite a long stint, actually. So the one-stoppers who start on the medium, usually you're only wanting to go 4 or 5 laps on those medium tires because it is the slower tire, and then you want to do the majority of the race on the faster tire. And you see that we've really caught up to Hirasawa Channel right now, and he actually runs wide through the spoon curve, and that has allowed us to get right behind him. So we're going to jump on the overtake button and really, really go aggressive here. We're still on up into 6th gear even, and we're coming up, and we're going to have to go for the gap. He barely leaves us any room, but we managed to make it through, so we are ahead. Can we outbrake him into the chicane? We should be able to. We have the tire advantage, and there you go. We have second place now. That was really important for our strategy to get ahead so that we can get the lap times in and pull out a little bit of a gap, because of course we need to make one more stop, and he doesn't. So now we have the Japanese driver HOH ahead of us, but he is on much more worn medium, so we're going to catch up to him very quickly as well. We don't want to lose too much time behind him, because during these first few laps with the soft tire, we need to be gaining as much time as we can, so getting stuck behind a slow car is actually quite a disaster. So you can see we've already caught up to the back of him, and he's really just going so slowly right now. The back of his car just has no grip whatsoever, and he jumps on the overtake button. You see the little rain light at the back there comes on for a moment. So we're going to come out of the hairpin here. We get onto the overtake button, come up behind him into his slipstream, and we're going to get a good run here. Is it a chance to overtake? Yes, look at that, late on the brakes, we get through, but as you can see, the red light is on above my helmet. That's not a warning light. It just goes as a signal to show that you have very low amount of the overtake button, and if you look there down in the bottom right corner, we actually have less than 25% left. So if anyone gets a good run on us and jumps on the overtake button, we are going to lose the position. But as you can see, HOH, he jumps into the pits. He was on the medium tyre, so he's going to switch onto the softs now and will be rapid in these last few laps of the race. So now it is our job that we have the lead to try and pull out a gap as much as possible on Hirasawa Channel, the guy in second place. So that's who we were battling for the lead earlier in the race. But we will also have to be mindful of where HOH is, because he is just going to be so rapid now with these soft tires and low fuel to end the race. And you need about a 5 or 6 second window in order to make a pit stop and come out ahead here at Suzuka. So unfortunately with the replay here, you don't get to see that. So we're going to just jump ahead now to the beginning of the 9th lap. As you can see, we haven't really made much progress, and we run a little bit wide there. The tyres have really started to go off, and now we're going to just have a look at a replay here of HOH. This is what I mean. He's on the soft tyre and just rapidly coming back through the field. I think he's maybe only about 5 seconds behind us right now. So once again, we're going to just skip ahead here midway through the 9th lap, and actually usually I would go until the end of lap 10 and then jump into the pits, but at this point I'm actually thinking of coming into the pits at the end of this lap just to try and maintain position over HOH. I think the first place is now out of reach because Hirasawa has managed to stay on us on these medium tires. So we're going to jump into the pits here, and it is going to be a race to see if we can come out in front of third. Are we going to get out here? We've got third place there on the little inset, and once again we have been jumped in the pits. Unfortunately, it was very close, a little bit less close than what it was the first time around, but we have unfortunately jumped back from first into third. Now, we do have the fresher tires, but the two in front of us have been very fast all race. HOH is now on the soft tyre, so he has the tyre advantage on us, and Hirasawa, he performed very well on the medium tyre. It seemed like in the beginning of the race on the softs he was struggling much more, but on these mediums he's really found his groove, and was a match for us on the softs basically in those last few laps of the stint, and that's why we've fallen behind so much. But in this situation, kind of, my one hope is, you can see the leaders, they're not too far up ahead, and HOH is going to be very, very aggressive because he has a huge tyre advantage over Hirasawa, because of course Hirasawa, he stopped all the way back on lap 4, so his tyres are now 6 laps old. So we're going to jump here to the end of lap 10, and you can see that HOH is all over the back of Hirasawa, so it's really down to these two Japanese drivers for the win here. He's very low on his overtake button, but he is in the slipstream, and Hirasawa is also low, so he doesn't have much to defend with. Here, HOH, he goes to the outside. He doesn't make it around though. Hirasawa is able to maintain his position, and I think HOH actually just bumped into the back of Hirasawa then, and as we jump back on with me, you are going to see the delightful little flashing red light up their head. That means that HOH has a 1 second penalty, and what that means is that second place is still a possibility. So we need to try and get as close as we can. And actually, about the penalty, that's one thing I've really noticed this week with the Super Formula cars, is the penalties have been turned right up, just because these cars are very twitchy. It's very difficult to race side by side, and most people just don't have the skill and reflexes to do it cleanly. So if second and first continue their battle, we might just get close enough that we can nip second off HOH when he goes to serve his penalty, which is just after the Spoon corner. But it actually looks like he's going to have a go up here the inside into Spoon. No, he doesn't, but Hirasawa, he has outbroken him. So runs a little bit wide, and HOH just bumps him into the back very slightly, and it causes Hirasawa to go wide. And look at that, we're going to pick up second place, and now HOH is serving his penalty. Are we going to get him too? Whoa, look at that, we go past, we're up into the lead from third into first place. Just incredible stuff here. We've done the Bradbury, and somehow clutched victory from the jaws of defeat, and with just a few hundred meters to go, we cross the line, take the checkered flag, and have taken victory. I told you to keep watching to the end. That was absolutely amazing. So, wow, what a fun race. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And we'll catch you next week. Peace out.